Hi, everyone. Welcoming all of you to our series of expert interviews called Financially Speaking with established individuals in finance who've broken myths about the complications and have carved their own niches and made finance work for them. Through this series of expert interviews, we will talk about a myriad of topics in finance, ranging from personal finance, fintech, to building economic and financial models. In our first episode today, we have with us Dr. Shyam Prasad R, lead data scientist at FinSearch. Shyam has also worked with a Connecticut-based hedge fund named Trex Quant Investments that managed assets under management of $2 billion as a quantitative researcher. Shyam holds a PhD from IIT Madras and the prestigious Australian government's Endeavour Research Fellowship. Shyam, it's such an honor to have you with us today. Thank you so much for joining in. Can you please tell us about your work and your amazing life journey?
Sure. Thanks, Neha. I hail from a small city called Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. So, as like every Indian, I also started my career as an engineer. So, I did my BTech from PSG Tech. But right from childhood, I have a fascination towards computers. So, post that, then I joined my PhD at IIT Madras. I specialized in finance. And after that, I was working as an Endeavour Research Fellow at Deakin University, Melbourne. Then post that, I joined a Connecticut-based hedge fund called Trex Quant Investments. There I was generating alphas. That's my primary role. So this is my short description. I think that's sufficient. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shyam.
Yeah,
And what we are
sure.
very curious to know from the Finlit project's perspective is, since we also sort of try to simplify finance for techies, we are very curious to understand how is it that your journey from computers and from doing a BTech to venturing into the world of finance actually happened? How did you make that happen?
Okay, so most of these engineers take a different path. We directly jump into the markets because markets look interesting and it's somewhat similar to your engineering background because basically it's a time series model. Every day, what happens to your stock price? But I just took another way around. So my mom is an accountant. So what happens is I was exposed to different financial statements in my childhood, and over the time period, I used to help with her accounting statements in my Excel sheets. So I was exposed to balance sheet and P&L statements right from my sixth grade or seventh grade. So it wasn't very difficult for me. Um, when I decided, okay, finance would be my career, I think the point started is when I read the book by Raghuram Rajan. I think it's Fault Lines. So it looked very interesting. Yeah, it has a huge impact on like a lot of engineers. So I thought, okay, why can't I pull my expertise and use it in finance? And it did a lot of wonders. So yeah, so basically in all my empirical studies on dealing with any quant models, it helped me a lot. So I think it's all about your interest and how easily you communicate stuffs to the people. So make it simple as it is possible. Every idea of finance. See, this is what my professor taught me. So when he wants to differentiate how accounting and finance works. So he wants to use it. He wants to derive the idea from the life lesson. So he used to tell me accounting is all about your historical data, your past data. But finance is something like your current values depend upon what you're going to do, create in your future. And
Right.
most of the value will come from the perpetuity, what you leave back. Okay,
Yeah.
as a legacy. So
Yeah.
your current values not depend upon your past, but upon
Correct.
your future. So
Right.
he derived that life idea. So I think I listened to this idea like 5, 6 years back, like or even 7 years back. So I decided, okay, why can't we? And most interesting part is it's all about beating the randomness. So
Yeah.
everyone, yeah. So that's what makes finance very interesting. Okay, like uh,
Yeah.
beating the randomness, and you try your human intuition combined with the quant part and the
Mm.
power of technology. So I think all meets in a single point.
Single point.
And when you
Yeah.
start to, yeah, when you start to go into that point, I think when you start enjoying that point, and so it's easy to pull anyone into the finance.
No, that is such, I think it's very beautifully put, because I've also felt
Yeah,
that, accounts is like, there's this perception that accounts is finance, whereas it is really not the same. They are
yeah,
two different
yeah,
fields. They, of course, intersect at some stage. And of course, well, like you said, at the historical data point of view. And this is
yeah,
so important to highlight for people who sort of think that, it's just about your accounting statements and your tax returns and those kind of elementary things. Of course, they're very elementary, but of course, there's this whole plethora of opportunities that finance presents, and it sort of happened for
yeah,
me in the same way, like stumbling into finance and then sort of falling in love with it, like every day, one day at a time,
yeah,
because
exactly,
every day
exactly.
is
Yeah,
like new discoveries, and you're like, oh my
yeah,
god, there is so much to learn. There's no dearth for like people who want to actually do. And I
yeah,
think it's just a space which actually rewards anybody who comes and embraces it. So I've got
exactly,
like,
exactly. Yeah,
for a lot of people, it's been like that. So,
yeah.
you
Finance
sort of,
never let you down. Yeah,
yeah, it never lets you
true that.
down. So,
Yeah,
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 can you
true
just
that,
sort of
true that.
decode what are quant funds and what is alpha, and what are those, like, are
Okay,
they scary? Are these like, very simple concepts, just onion
okay.
together?
Okay, it's very simple. You have some money in your pocket. Okay, so the immediate investment. Let us assume uh, that's your like very important capital. Okay, so you don't want to take any risk with that capital. So what you do is you just go and immediately put it in your fixed deposit or buy a government bond, because the risk of that investment is nil. Okay, let us assume that capital is your residual capital. Okay, you have the right
Yeah,
savings,
yeah,
maybe as a fixed asset or something, but this is a residual capital. You're fine with taking a risk.
right.
Okay, so directly you have two options now. You can go and buy like mm, a Nifty 50, because it's basically a passive
Fun.
investing, investing. Like you'll make a profit if it goes up, or you'll make a loss when it comes down. But the other way around is called your active investing. Okay, so now you have to make a profit more than what the market makes. I think that's what the interesting part. Yeah, it's not just gambling. It's have a scientific method.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not just about intuition. If you are able to plug in stuffs in a proper stock or a proper equity, you can make a profit. Okay, so that's what alpha is. Alpha is nothing but a strategy, an equity strategy to tell what to buy and what to sell. So I'll tell you a small statistical experiment. Uh, I think every day morning, 7 o'clock, a lot of people sit before CNN, IBN to get the stock tips. Okay. Let us assume I'm a broker. Okay. I don't know anything about the stock. Okay. I don't have any clue about the stock. So what I do is I go to a pack of people, 64 people are there. Okay. I divide them as 32, 32. I tell 32 people, I don't have any clue about the stock. Okay, I just tell 32 people to buy the stock and another 32 people to sell the stock. Okay, so stock has either only two options: either it can go up or it can come down. Okay, so with this 32 people, I say, okay, if you make profit next day, you have to give 10% of your profit. Let us assume the stock price has gone up. Okay, so I go to the 32 people who has made profit, and they give me 10% of their profit. Now what I do is I divide 16 of them, 16, 16. Okay, with 16 of them I tell buy in another stock. I tell 16 of them to sell the other stock. I don't have any clue about the stock. Still, the next day I will make a profit out of it. So, like this, 2 power n times I can make a profit out of the stocks. Okay.
Correct.
So, it's not just with the information you can make a profit. If people say with an information you can make a profit in the stock market, it's a lie.
Yeah.
So, you need a lot of models to, yeah, to find a track, to find a pattern,
Right.
to understand a pattern, to understand the structural break, to make a profit.
To make a
So
profit.
that's what, yeah, that's what all
No,
your
absolutely. Thank
engineering.
you so much for highlighting that, because there are two aspects. And one is, of course, that it is not a gamble. There's a whole lot of science that
Yeah,
goes into it. And of course, you start with, like, for like retail investors, you start with fundamentals, but it's so important to understand the technical models and technical, analysis methods of it, because that's what is going to hold you. So it's important to enter
yeah,
and exit. And if it's on the news, it's already too late. So the movement has
Yeah,
already happened. And if
exactly,
anybody who
exactly,
is sitting
exactly.
and it's in the paper, it's in the news, you're sort of looking at how SGX Nifty is moving or just sort of speculating on the basis of that. So it's a whole science, and this is the myth that needs to be debunked, that it's not a gamble. It is something
Exactly,
that you have
exactly.
to be very patient with, and sort
Mm.
of, which is so important to highlight. So again, you've been working for a fintech company, and there's so many fintech products which are booming. Okay, this year has just seen a CAGR of almost
Yeah,
25,
yeah, yeah.
26%, with so many fintech companies just like getting a lot of funding and those kind of things. But what is it that you feel that, what are the key areas within fintech which you feel, have a lot of value for long term, and especially for people who are watching who might be looking to venture into the field?
Okay. I think there is a beautiful intersection. I think the intersection is between your domain expertise is finance and your technical expertise is a data science. Okay, there are a lot of fintech products emerging out. One could be a payment system, and another could be the prediction. Okay, it's like your assistant, what you give to the traders. Okay, so at the end, traders should make a decision, but they need an aid. They need someone to predict for them, at least suggest them. Okay, I think these two are the major parts. Okay, because a country like India, we need a different kind of payment system to make the transactions very simple. So yeah, that's in one kind of industry. I'm into the another one. I'm just because I have a trading experience. I worked as a quant researcher, so I can suggest the traders what they can do. Okay, what they can buy and what they can sell. So here this intersection works where the finance and data science. So the people who are from the engineering background, who has an expertise with the different fields of data science. It's not just ML model or deep learning model, even NLP people, the natural language processing people who can do a lot of text mining stuffs, they can also venture into the finance field. Because I think recently, I think 3-4 years back, what did JP Morgan did is they downloaded 25,000 EPS reports. They try to understand sentiment of each report. Based on that sentiment, they try to buy and sell the product. Okay, so even the people who has a computational linguistic expertise, they can come inside and they can contribute a lot. Finance, see, the interesting part of the finance, it's an open ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so you may you it's like if you have any expertise, any skill, you can come and play in this ground.
Yeah,
So finance opens the doors for everyone. It's
everyone.
all about, yeah, it's all about if you feel like you have a lot of common sense, and if you have an adaptable to any risky situation, or if you're open for learning, I think you don't need to be a coder. Here you can come and learn the coding. Okay, coding is not an
Yeah.
issue at all. I think what I personally feel is finance. If you want to venture into finance, be open-minded. Okay, like use your common sense. Try to have that adaptability character. It's very
Yeah.
important. You have to learn and unlearn many stuffs in finance.
Yeah.
You cannot. An interesting part of finance is it's always crushes your ego. Actually, it will crush your ego. You
Yeah.
think that you have predicted something, and the next day the market will move on the opposite direction to say, hey, you have predicted properly. You still have to learn a lot. So
No, that is
that's an
so
interesting
true.
part of finance.
I think it's just the best teacher, and you're so right that it's sort of like, just when you think you know everything, then snap, something will happen which will be absolutely
Yeah,
opposite to what you anticipated, and that is the beauty of it. But I think that's what teaches you, and I think you're so correct in saying that irrespective of what age you are, whether you're
yeah,
younger, you're older, you have to just like keep your mind open, and like continue to learn and
yeah,
unlearn, and which is such a beautiful thought. What do
yeah.
you think, like are the
Yeah.
focus areas for research within India, and how do you think that research in India is going to shape up in the next few years in finance?
Uh, I think my PhD specialization is in mergers and acquisitions. So like when I travel across the globe, at least inside India, across different conferences, I felt one thing like, so I'll be one of the 10 researchers who do research in M&A. But
Yeah.
there is a huge scope for M&A in India, but I still wonder why a lot of people are not going into it. So, and there is, and M&A, mergers and acquisition, is not just about finance. It involves
Legal.
strategy, it involves game
Legal.
theory, it involves a lot of steps. Okay, like it involves international business, It involves a lot of steps. I still wonder why a lot of people are not getting, especially when the consolidation of business banks are happening now. And
Yeah.
there is a lot of scope for M&A researchers. And that's first point. Next is, as I already told you, like the intersection of M&A and data science. So a lot of
Yeah.
people, data scientists, were solving the real-time problems, but there are a lot of academic puzzles, financial puzzles were yet to be solved because people didn't know what drives M&A. It's still unresolved puzzle. If you go to
Yeah.
Brené and Meyer's book, the last page will have 10 unresolved puzzles in finance. At least one of the puzzles can be resolved using data science. I seriously believe, especially with M&A research, you can
Correct.
solve it using all your machine learning and deep learning models.
Wow.
So I think the second part of your research should be the intersection of your finance and data science. Third, I think there will be always a scope for improvement is your portfolio maximization, your portfolio management. Yeah.
All those
So
things.
it's all about the people's interest. If they feel they can add a lot of value to the valuation part, then they should go to the M&A side, I would suggest. Because I personally feel there is a lot of problems like unexplained in M&A. If they feel like they have good technical expertise, data science expertise, and they want to use or utilize that expertise in finance, they should come into finance plus data science intersection, that point. Third one, if they feel like they're good in math, I
Yeah.
think the right point is like
It's
you have to go to the
MPMS.
portfolio side.
Yeah.
Portfolio side. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So
That
we
is
need a
so
lot of
much.
mathematician who can.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think we need like really good people to keep, coming and embracing the field. Another challenge is the dearth of good resources. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Sham. And as a
Yeah,
final
sure, Neha.
thought, what is your favorite quote or book or like you mentioned Fault Lines by Raghuram Rajan, but something that continues to
Yeah.
inspire you? And can you just tell us that before as a final thought?
Okay, I think 3 books would be like I would suggest people to go. Like first would be The Quant by Scott Patterson.
Okay.
So people who wants to come into the finance field, especially with the markets, they have to read that book, and I'm sure they should pick that book and start reading that. And second one is if they feel they want to know more about the valuation stuff, they should go and pick the Valuation by Ashwath Damodaran.
Ashwath Damodaran.
So
Yeah.
that's brilliant book.
He's an
So
absolute
everyone
legend.
who wants, everyone wants to start their fundamentals with finance and accounting, they should go and pick that book. And third one, my personal favorite is The Man Who Solved the Market. So it's about Jim Simons, Renaissance Technology. He's a billionaire of the hedge fund industry. So they talk about how the group of mathematicians cracked the market. So these 3 books are really important if they want to get into finance. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sham, for sharing this I think sage-like wisdom said in absolutely simple terms. So thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much once again.